Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being here. My name is Villa Podaca, and I'm the Federal Special Programs Coordinator. We're here this afternoon with the Progressing Together meeting. I'm going to have Ms. Susie Frescas, the Instructional Program Administrator, provide the announcements, and also Horacio Hernandez, Technology Director, is going to give you some information about the hotspot services and updates. And Obed Hernandez, Technology Instructional Offices, will provide the instruction of the Netflix software. Next, I'll have the pleasure to introduce you Ms. Susie Frescas.
Yes, thank you. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for giving us part of your afternoon. So we just have a couple of announcements before we get to the presentation for this afternoon. And then later, at the end of the session, if you have any questions on anything that is presented or anything else, we can take your questions. So just a couple of teacher conferences to announce. We have Alarcón and Borrego. They will be having parent-teacher conferences Tuesday, October 26th at 4. So that's today. That is Alarcón and Borrego. For Loña and Zambrano, those parent conferences are on Thursday, October 28th at 4 o'clock. Again, that's with our little ones, Loya and Zambrano. Friday, October 29th, we will have a Smart Snack Exemption Day. And what that is, as you know, we're not allowed to have like candies or, sweet stuff or, those, the good stuff. We can't have that every day. So the state allows us some exemption days throughout the year so that we can celebrate with kids certain holidays, one of them being Halloween. So on Friday, we will allow a Smart Snack Exemption Day. Then November, the whole month of November is Military Family Month. So any of you who have either your families, any member in the military, or yourselves, or neighbors, we thank you on behalf of San Elizario I.S.D. Thank our military members for their service. We know that it's not just the military person that it's tough for and that is, doing their duty, but the family as well is affected. So we thank everyone involved. Also, we have on Saturday, November 6th, which is next Saturday, we have the San Elizario City Veterans Day Parade. And so that parade will begin at 9, and I think we're all used to it, right? It's always the same path, so that's great. That's next Saturday at 9 o'clock. Sunday, the following day, daylight savings time. We changed the clocks, so we get an additional hour of sleep. Yay! So we'll roll the clocks back. Wednesday, November 10th, we have the board meeting, and those board meetings are held here, so we invite all community members to our board meetings. And then Thursday, November 11th, is the actual Veterans Day holiday. So that day, Thursday, November 11th, we will not have classes. Okay, so there will be no school as we celebrate our veterans. Okay, and that is all of the announcements that I have for now. So I'll turn it over to Mr. Horacio Hernandez, who will give you some other information.
Good afternoon. My name is Horacio Hernandez, and I'm the IT Director here at San Elizario I.S.D. And to give you an update on the hotspot, so I don't know how many of you use our service, our hotspot lending service. So we started that service to assist our students with internet connectivity. Right now, the hotspots are off. The existing ones are off because, of course, the contract ended in September. But the good news is that we just got a grant. We applied for a grant and we got replacement hotspots. So they're starting to come in and they're getting inventory. So by the time they get here, we'll take about another week, 2 weeks. But if you all get our notifications, the all calls, the texts, the emails, we'll be sending one where we'll specify that, the location, the time, and then most of all, we'll ask for you to return the old device because it's no longer good, and we'll give you a new device. The new devices are Verizon hosted. So the reason why we went with Verizon is we have better coverage here at San Eli with Verizon than with T-Mobile and Sprint when we started with this pandemic. So if you have one, just be on the lookout, be attentive to whatever messages we send regarding those hotspots. They'll be swapped out with whatever you have. If you don't have one and have a need of one, call us. We'll to the IT department. We'll ask you a set of questions, and if you qualify, we'll lend you one. These hotspots will be good for the rest of the school year, which is until November 2022. Okay? The hotspot is an effort from the district to assist our students with internet connectivity, but the district is also working on grants and joining other cohorts and coalitions with other events, free events, Tornillo, the city, the county, to find long-term solutions, and that includes either a Wi-Fi solution or a more long-term solution like fiber or fiber infrastructure in the community. So there's some conversations going on, so be attentive. We'll release more information as it becomes available, but that's our goal, to have the Sanelli community with good infrastructure that will allow service providers to provide internet service, and even at that, better internet service, okay? So with that, if you have any questions, write them down. We'll get the cards, the questions, and then at the end of the presentation, we'll collect them and read them off, and then we'll answer them as we go, okay? So with that, I'm gonna hand over to Mr. Roberto Hernandez. He's our Instructional Technology Officer, and he's gonna give a presentation on NetRef, a tool that will help our teachers have a more controlled environment now that every student has more device one-to-one. So with that, Mr. Roberto Hernandez.
Good afternoon. Yes, I'm Roberto Hernandez. I'm the Instructional Technology Officer. I work in the technology building, and I was a teacher for 12 years at the high school and transitioned into this position. So even before the pandemic, when not everybody had devices in the classroom, but I was fortunate enough to have devices in mine. I had Chromebooks and iPads, and it was always a struggle as a teacher to be able to monitor and make sure that the kids were engaged in the content that I was providing. And NetRef existed back then, but it wasn't really something that we could access it. And now the pandemic came along, and it showed the need for something where teachers can have that classroom management and be able to monitor, manage, and know what the kids are doing in their classrooms when everybody has a device. So the pandemic made us a one-on-one, and teachers are asking for that help instead of calling us where we have to see if we can block this side or open this side and stuff like that. The teachers will all have this access. So, like I said, NetRef is an app that's going to be pushed out to the devices. Is the video not popping up? No? That's fine. So, even before, again, one of the biggest issues, and I have a former student of mine, Jose, what was something that you used, that you did when you had a device in front of you that maybe you weren't focused? What do kids do? Or what do you think kids do when they have a device and they're not doing their work?
They start playing games, I guess.
Playing games, right? And it's usually that. It's nothing horrible. They're not doing things that they're not, the inappropriate things. Those are completely blocked by the district. They can't access those. But they go off track, right? And one of the things is playing games or watch YouTube. And that was one of the biggest problems in the pandemic, that the kids were playing games while they're in their Google Meets, and the teacher had no way of knowing that. And now, through NetRef, teachers are going to have that power to push out those websites and close those browser tabs. So if a kid is on YouTube watching a tutorial on how to beat Warcraft, well then the teacher can just, with a press of a button, just take away that tab away from them. If the teacher needs the attention of the kids and the kids are working or off task or whatever it is, she can deny the internet for all the kids and now can get the attention of the kids because their devices are kind of locked in a way. Right? And again, it's not to catch kids doing things wrong, it's to push and engage kids a little bit more effectively. So they'll be able to push those sites, they're gonna be able to control the internet and app on and on controls. Teacher and student screen sharing. So if, say we were in a classroom and you all had Chromebooks and you guys are working on something, and I see that Ms. Gutierrez is doing a great job with her whatever it is presentation that she's working on, I can have her push out her screen and now the kids could see it on the Promethean board and the teacher or the student can present on what they're doing. Again, something to promote a little bit more engagement of that. And along with locking down, teachers do a great job of planning. They spend hours planning, and every unit, every lesson has websites that they know that the kids might need to go to or that they need to go to. Teachers should create their own allow list. That way, when they come to their class, these are the only sites that the kids can see. So again, giving a little bit more power to the teachers, and helping the students be more engaged and learn what they need to learn. And again, they're pretty much what's going to do, it's oversee device use for every student in real time, what's going on, and direct activity it's in a click, right? They're going to be able to okay, go here, or even send a text message to the kid. If a kid is, for some reason, is off task in the sense that maybe they're not in the right research page, the teacher can be like, hey, check this site instead, you'll find better information. Again, promoting that student learning. That's what NetRef will do. Device management, and this is more on the administrative side, more on our back end. It's so easy for teachers to use that they can start using it right away, and we wanted to wait to launch it until we had a little meeting just to let you know that this is something that's going to happen. But the moment that I send the information out, because we're a Google district, they're going to be able to sign on with their Google account, and they're going to have the platform already. And again, this is something for the teachers. The students will know. The kids are going to hear that the teachers are monitoring what they're seeing. They will know. They found out within half a day of when we tried a little pilot back in February. They'll know. But again, it's all to push that engagement in the kids, and the teachers will run with it, and they're gonna see the value in using this. And eventually, once we get this rolled out correctly by the teachers, there's an option for giving that access to parents to see the parents can monitor the usage of when the kids are at home using our district device. So it's going to just pretty much oversee the district school own student devices and set global rules while allowing classroom level controls. The control and the back end, I'll administer it, but in the end, it's going to be the teachers that are in the classroom that are going to design how they want to use this by opening up internet, closing tabs, pushing out things, messaging students. That's going to be based on the teacher. Some of the learning analytics that I like NetRef and what it does for us, and again, this is more on the back end, is we spend money on certain applications, certain subscriptions, and NetRef is going to give us a return on investment. We're going to see what I call is a bang for the buck, right? Are we really using a platform correctly, and are we getting the most money out of it? Hopefully this, and if it's not, then we can provide some training to the teachers, extra training, or even to the kids and to the parents if the parents are helping us in that. So that's one of the good things that I like about NetRef. We get to see in the back end how things are being used. Online behavior auditing, again, this is it seems like a little negative, but if there was an incident, we can always pull out a report of where the kid was doing this, or even before it gets to be an incident, teachers are getting those reports of student engagement, and I'll show you a little bit at home. A little bit about it right now. So the at-home bandwidth, talking what Horacio was talking about, hotspots. There's a tool in NetRef that when a kid uses a device at home, it's going to check to see what their bandwidth is like. And if we start seeing trends where kids are struggling with their bandwidth, then that could be a flag for us to be like, you know what? Hey, maybe this kid could benefit from a hotspot, all right? Or maybe we can alert you about contacting your provider to provide better service, things like that. So those are some of the cool things that NetRef will allow us to do. So it's going to audit traffic and analyze data to measure the value of program licensing, identify any gaps in adoption. So again, can we provide more training for it to be more effective, and determine which students need additional instructional or technology support. So we'll see if kids are engaged in that. And right now, I'll go live and show you my son. My son is a freshman in high school, and you're gonna see that he's not the most engaged kid. So I'm gonna have to have a talk with him about what he's doing when he's in school. And these things are not popping up. Can you take it off? Stop presenting, and then so they just can see it. Or present again. In the top right. See if it presents there. It was coming up, huh? Is it there? The Bitly opens up the PowerPoint presentation.
Okay.
Yeah, go back to the Spanish one. Probably the Spanish one has it there. And again, it's just the video I'm going to show you is just what some teachers in other districts are saying about NetRef and how it's just helped them have a little bit more control in what kids are doing when the teacher turns away or the teacher leaves them to do their work, because a teacher can be up there 45 minutes to there we go. I will let it. Technology problems, right? With the technology guys.
So before NetRef, we struggled with keeping students on track. We realized, oh my goodness, we need something to come alongside of us and help us monitor students online.
Having that conversation with parents to help keep kids on track when the kid goes, well, no, I was doing my stuff the whole time. And you can go, you're weird,
It addressed what for us was the biggest checkbox that we wanted to tick.
Playing games when they're not supposed to be playing games, or inappropriate sites that we wanted to make sure were blocked for their own safety. We have been able to do that with NetRef.
It is so easy. So first thing you do is pop up your tab and you have a teacher panel right inside of Chrome. And that teacher panel gives you access to all of your students' screens at one time. From here, you can choose anything you want to do. You can close out a student tab, you can push websites to students, you can lock down access, you can message them.
It's so nice that it's so simple. The platform is very simple to use.
The great thing about NetRef is that it's already calculating the programs we're using.
We just have hard data that we can show them that wasn't available to teachers before, or even us really beforehand.
We initially bought it just to monitor what students were doing on their computer, and now we've come up with all of these different uses that we're going to be able to use it for.
The percentages of breakdown of websites that are used is really, really, really helpful.
My classroom teachers, they have enjoyed so much, like I said, just having the controls.
It just met so many different needs, and the platform is so easy to use that the teachers are really liking it.
The reason we ended up choosing NetRef is just the ease of the program. It's very teacher-friendly, self-explanatory.
The allow list and the block list, and this is really what changed my classroom and allowed me just to focus on teaching. Because once you step away from correcting behaviors, it really just frees you up to do what you want to do and teach.
It's a great product, it's a great price, really great people to work with that answer your questions in a very timely manner.
I would absolutely recommend NetRef.
Okay, and then, she said it like, focus on teaching. Kids and students they're gonna nag about this. They're gonna be like, what, you're like spying us? And they're gonna come home and they're saying that we're turning on their devices and all that. It's not that, it's just monitoring what they're doing, because in the end, we want teachers to be able to teach and just focus on that, right? Just focus on the teaching, because there won't be a need, they won't be able to get distracted if teachers are using NetRef correctly. So there's just so many things, and a lot of the feedback that they gave when we went and we launched, we did a little pilot for a couple of days back in February. Same feedback that our teachers were saying, and we're excited, and some teachers are really excited that they're going to have this control. And again, they're not going to be the internet Nazi. They're just going to be able to push that learning, that engagement, and focus on the kids. You're going to go back to. And I'm going to go live. I'm going to just show you some of the information that is out there. I'm not going to show you the whole platform, just because that's more for the teachers, but I'm just going to show you some of the information that you get to see. So it's as simple as a teacher logging in with their Google account. And what I'm going to show you is a student report, and I'm going to show you my son's report. Here is just a basic, all the campuses right now are pretty much ready to go. Loya is the only one that is still, they haven't really fully signed on because they use iPads, and the NetRef is still trying to figure out the iOS. But we don't really want to monitor the Loya kids. They're more hands-on than everybody else. So everybody's pretty much ready to go. The high school are missing a few devices for students, so the moment that they log onto a device using their Chrome account, they're going to pop up here in the licensing. So we're pretty much the district, we're ready to go with being able to see what the kids, ready for the teachers to take control of that. So I'm going to go to report panel, and I'm going to go to a student, and I'm going to go to the high school where my son is at. And I'm going to find his account, and we're just going to see some of the things. And again, these are some of the things if you're concerned about your, and I'm going to go since 11th day. So see here, we see a little bit of the total time. Just right now, we'll leave it there. So total time that he spent online, again, some of it has not, he didn't have a device, his device wasn't working, so he's using his phone up to the 19th, and then he started using, on the 20th he was off, he wasn't in campus, he was at cross country meet, so I know that way we don't have information there. And then on Thursday and Friday he used it, or Thursday and Friday he used it, and then yesterday, if you scroll down, you're going to be able to see the top sites that he's on, and you see YouTube up there. YouTube could be a red flag, but I know that some of his teachers at the high school do use YouTube for instruction, so we're there, but I bet you some of those videos were probably watching some car stuff or video game stuff. So we want the teacher to be like, hey, you know what, Santiago's watching YouTube, but he's watching a tutorial on how to beat a video game. Boom, we can either send him a message, take away that tab, block him from using it, and redirect his behavior so something more engaging where he needs to do his work. The one that really gives me a red flag is the second one. Is almost 25% of the time in that week span he spent on unblocked games. Do you know what that is, Jose? Have you played that before?
Well, Unblocked Games is a website where they have a bunch of other flash games, and those flash games could have material that isn't suitable for a classroom.
There we go. So that is a red flag for us. So that's something that for us, we're going to be like, hey, Chente, the network guy, is there a way that we can, as a district, maybe just unblock games, right? It's a Google site, right? It's like a Google site with a bunch of links to other.
Yeah, you can just go to Google and then you search it up and there's the link.
There you go. So now that 25% of the time that he spent online last week could have been academic, right? Instead of playing the games. And maybe there's times where there is downtime, but again, that's going to be a thing where the teacher's going to decide what they want to do with the students. So other than that, everything's good. Classroom Google, they're using Google Classroom, Docs, either it could be a document, a slideshow, whatever it is, something with Google. Investopedia, that's probably his dollars and cents class and so forth. So we see some things, and we can pull out this report by individual student. We can pull it by a classroom, what they're doing in the classroom. We can pull a report by a campus. And again, on the back end, we can make some decisions on if we're going in the right direction or not, if we need that extra training, or if there's just some sites that, you know what, this site is just creating a hassle for people, let's just go ahead and as a district, let's block it, or we can just let teachers know that this is something that they might want to just block because students are are just spending too much time on it and it's taking away some of the instructional time. And that's about all I'm going to show you in terms of, can you go back to the presentation? We can finish it off. On what it could do. There's a lot more, but it's just too technical to get into, but we just want to just see some of the things. So the site breakdown, what we were looking at, some of the sites and what they were spending on. So on that, this is information from our district back in February. And this was alarming, right? Like, kids were watching Netflix on their student devices during school hours. So that was like, whoa, man, that's something that hopefully it's not happening now, but it was happening, and we were all there. We were all parents, and kids were, as much as they wanted to be in school, they were an opportunity to be off task. So that was the same devices. Again, it gives us a little breakdown. I really like this spreadsheet that we can pull up. It gives us the percentages of time spent as a district-wide in terms of what sites the kids were looking at. So now we get to see some stuff, and there we see some of our paid stuff that we use and so forth. Some really good instructional time. I don't know if Facebook is instructional or not, but last in February, Facebook was being used. And we have some resources, but just pretty much we've gotten to the whole implementation part. I remember a couple months ago we had a leadership meeting where this was presented to the leadership of the district. Our final step was pretty much to let the parents know, and we've had a couple sessions where we have, and this is the final one. We're ready to launch it. We kind of fixed some glitches on the back end, but we're ready to launch Netflix and give that power to the teachers to be able to engage the students correctly. Okay? And we're good. So, yeah, I'm done. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Oven. Now this is the time to ask any questions for any of the presenters. You have a form, you can sign your question. You have a little card. If you don't feel like asking the questions, you can write them down and we pick them up. Your questions in a little bit, and when you have them ready, just raise your hands and we'll be able to answer those questions. Thank you.
We'll give them 5 minutes.
We'll give you 5 minutes. Thank you. Do you all have any questions for the presenters? Okay, if you don't have any questions, I want to say we appreciate your time, and now we're going to pass it on to the representative from the City of San Elizario. that is going to talk to you about the property owner's maintenance and their property cleaning, and also about the parking on the city street. I'll have now Ms. Dolores to come in front.